Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Joining me today on the Caddo Convos from our North Tarrant location is Breanna Trimble with the law offices of James Trimble. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. Let's talk about the services you offer and what sets your law office apart. What makes you different?
So we specialize in estate planning. We do wills and trust and probate and all of the things related to death and dying. Always fun conversations, especially at that time.
Necessary. Yeah.
Necessary, absolutely. And we ourselves are a husband and wife ran practice with a blended family with 4 children. And so what I think really separates us and our ideal type of client is somebody who also is our age and has children and is trying to figure out how do we leave a legacy for them. We have his, hers, ours, and we have an adopted 3-year-old. So we truly are a unique cross-section of a interesting dynamic, and we really cater to families like that as well.
How long have you been in business?
Well, Jim has been an attorney for 10 years, Texas A&M graduate, undergrad in law school. And then he's had his own firm for 7 years. And I left a corporate career last summer and am coming up on my 1-year anniversary of joining the law firm.
And you serve what areas, as in the geographically?
I would say truly, actually, we service all of the state of Texas. He started early on in his practice doing some remote work for a organization who now we have all of these relationships for mobile notaries who know our estate documents and our plans and can go deliver them in El Paso or San Antonio or anywhere like that. But I would say North Texas, Tarrant County, all of our bread and butter families are here in our community. We're located in Colleyville, but we live in Keller. So anywhere in the spaces.
Excellent.
Our family.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the different services and let's put people to them. We're not going to mention names, but let's talk about some of the people you've helped with your service and processes.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. A big part of our business is probate. It's sad.
And real quick, just define that for the audience that doesn't know.
Yeah, so if you have a will in place, somebody passes with a will, which is wonderful. That's great. You want to have that. It still has to be probated in front of a judge that basically looks at it and says, yes, this is the original document. This is what their wishes were. I do believe this to be a true document. And then you take that to banks and to all of the places that you need to say this person has passed. I'm owning their things. If someone passes without a will, you still have to go to probate court because you need to figure out how do we get mom's house? What do we do with her car? How do we get into things? So either way, either path leads you there unless you have a trust. And so a big part of what we do is probate. And I answer the phones often. And there's a lot of pre-screening of hearing just really sad stories of families who call in. Somebody died a couple of days ago. They haven't even had the funeral. It can sometimes be pretty heavy work. And so there's a lot of stories. We're writing somebody's plan right now. And before they could come in and sign, the husband passed this weekend on Father's Day. And those are hard because, we try to encourage folks when we come in, we do the consultation, we send them their drafts. We're like, please come in and sign your documents. And sometimes they sit there for months to a year and I'm still like, hey, please come sign your documents if something happens. So unfortunately, that was a sad case this weekend, though we have plenty of happy cases. I had someone call me. This has now been a couple of months, but I won't forget her crying. I almost didn't answer the phone. It was 4:55. I was driving home, had somewhere to be with the kids, and the office line rings to my cell phone in my neighborhood. I answer and she is heavy crying. And hi, how can I help you? And she said, I believe I'm going to have a brain aneurysm. My neurosurgeon, I've had one before. They were able to do surgery 10 years ago. All of the symptoms are back. I'm scared I'm going to die. And my surgeon can't get me in until, and she entered a date that was like 6 weeks away. What is going to happen if something happens to me? And so I was like, hold on, let me get your name. Let me get all of your information. Let me get to the home. I'm going to send you our new client intake form. If you can go through all the exercise, you and your husband discuss everything you would want for your property, how you would want it all distributed. Fill this out tonight. I will find a way to get you in for a consultation tomorrow. I think it was like a Thursday. And I was like, if I can get my husband to work tomorrow night to draft the documents, to get everything to you, review them over the weekend, we can have you sign on Monday. And it's kind of nice when you're married to the attorney because he will do favors for me when I ask. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to do that when the whole office came together. We came in on Monday. They got everything done. And she said everybody was pushing her towards, different attorneys, ones they had used. She was like, but you were the only one who could even remotely get us in, who even cared about my story. She was like, you were the third person I called. And it was because my best friend, she was the only one who had worked with you. She's actually on your website as one of your reviews. And I was like, what a small world. So I won't ever forget her. I actually still think about her. Like, is everything okay? How did that neurosurgeon appointment go?
Right. But, yeah. Time has passed, mm-hmm. Since that. And that's, I think, can't speak for James necessarily, but I mean, the reason a lot of people go into the legal industry at all is to help people, mm-hmm. because people are so lost. When they don't know the law, and especially the type of law that your office practices. Tell me about the other services.
We do a lot of small business formation.
Okay.
We own a couple of beach houses, and Crystal Beach was a COVID purchase while we were homeschooling.
Sure.
And on vacation on a whim, bought a beach house. And that started the need of, wow, you really need to protect your assets, and really setting up LLCs within that to protect those. So we actually do quite a bit of LLC formation. But otherwise, we stay in our lane. We really only specialize in estate planning, will packages, trust packages, and business formation and probate.
Excellent. Yeah. Why did you choose Caddo for your office location?
So when I left my corporate career, they didn't exactly have an office, just waiting for me within my husband's law firm. So we got a desk and actually put me in his office with him, like sitting there in the room. And that was a lot. I mean, we woke up. We shared an office space. We went home. We cooked dinner for the kids. We tucked them in and did that every day. And finally, I was like, I need a little space here. And somebody recommended Caddo. And it's been the best decision. I'm actually a huge advocate for them. I always have the boardroom space that I need. I use it for a lot of my chamber events and women's groups and things that I do. We use it all the time. And I never run out of time and space. Everybody's so friendly and clean. It has to be the cleanest bathrooms of any place I've ever worked.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really nice. So yeah. I love it here.
That story resonates for a lot of people, but the first time I've heard it put that way, my wife and I actually had an office divorce, and I would air quote that. We shared an office for a while and realized that we were both on conference calls almost constantly. And while we love each other, it's nice to get a little, the nice. Absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of thing. And that's another reason why we have our podcast studios here.
There you go.
Is get Buddy out of the house. Get out of the home office and go do something great. What do you think you enjoy most about what you do? Like, you told me some great stories here, but, at the end of the day, we all want to have an impact.
Well, I'd say that for me, it's been all I ever really knew. I had 20 years at the same corporate company, and I had a big role and a big family in areas that I felt like were developed and that were mine. And in this last year, what I've really appreciated is that I've got really connected to the community, whereas I don't feel like I was before outside of my kids' sporting events or school things. And now I'm actually, setting up events with Jim and meeting people in our community, talking about what we can do, hearing their family stories. And so on a much deeper personal level, I feel really connected to my community that I hadn't before.
That's wonderful.
So I like it a lot.
Yeah. What would you say to people who are, fear is a deterrent and gets in the way of making good decisions? How would you tell people to prepare for picking up the phone to call you? What do they need to have at their disposal?
They really don't need to have anything. I think that they can just call me and ask the questions that they're thinking about. People do that all the time. We do free consultations for estate planning. I mean, I don't really want to set you to come in and go, let's theoretically talk about what does estate planning mean? But if you want to come in and talk about your scenario and how you think you would want to leave things to your family and get the advice of an attorney, he will sit there and meet with you and tell you all of that and say, hey, if you want to move forward, this is what I charge for that. If you don't, then okay, I'll be here when you're ready. I mean, we have a service that everybody needs. And I'm going to butcher it if I try to make the joke, but we get lots of people that call in. And when I hear Jim talking to them, he will say, well, you're doing good. You haven't met the appropriate deadline yet, which is when you pass away. Right. So as long as you call, it doesn't matter if you're you're 18 years old, you're going off to college, your parents can no longer make doctor's appointments for you or refill prescriptions, and you need some power of attorney. To young parents in their 20s who, if something were to happen, you want to make sure that your children go where you would want them to go and not the state and a judge deciding those things for you. Or maybe you're in the generation of I am, in the sandwich generation, where you need to make sure that your parents are taken care of. One of your parents passes and the other is like, in the state of Texas, it's okay. If you're married, all of your property just automatically goes to your spouse. That is not the case. And you as a child are going to be set with a much more expensive probate experience when the second one passes. So handle it now and not later. So there's a bunch of, I don't remember the original part of the question where we started, but we can help everybody.
Yeah. And I think it comes back to, I've heard this said before, if you don't plan, the government has a plan for you.
100%. The judge will decide. Jim says the same thing. If you don't want to, the judge will decide for you.
Yeah. So it's better to get ahead of that in any case.
It is.
Yeah. Well, excellent. How would you prefer people contact you? You mentioned the phone. Are there other ways they can reach out to you?
There's all kinds of ways. I have this personal goal to get our social media to 1,000 followers, and it is a much harder task than I thought it would be. I thought, I got this by the time I get up to my 1-year anniversary with the firm. I am still 400 and something away from that goal. So following us on social is great. We're at Trimble Law Office, but our website is great. We have a contact form, or call us. You'll usually get me on the phone if you call, and I'm happy to answer questions and talk to things through you. It's actually part of my favorite job is talking to clients when they call.
That's terrific. Well, maybe we can help there and raise the level there. Well, it's been great talking to you, hearing what you enjoy about what you do, and sharing your knowledge with our audience. Thank you for being on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagined. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.